Donc, la, a mentionné que nous offre des crédits pour Google, par exemple, Google Cloud, faire son propre l'abonnement, comme on le sait. Donc, ce membre est dans Google GTG, donc il aura la possibilité d'avoir accès à Google Cloud sans autant payer.
Pardon, je me... là, les tokens, ils sont automatiquement attribués ou il fallait une demande pour les avoir. Merci.
Yeah, so
merci beaucoup, Tafa. Donc, c'est comme je viens de le dire, c'est-à-dire que, par exemple, si vous en avez besoin, vous faites à la demande et nous, ici, à partir de la direction, nous allons faire une demande pour vous auprès du JT, vous aurez accès au token. J'espère que vous avez compris.
Un groupe WhatsApp pour la communication et aussi si vous rejoindre les dashboards de la communauté, vous pouvez aussi communiquer avec nous via l'email.
D'accord, c'est très clair. Merci beaucoup.
yes, so I think we are trying to get the Google Cloud credits. I think if I get it, you shared it on the WhatsApp. And so if you want, you can have access to this particular Google Cloud Codelab. So I'll copy it and put it in the chat box, whereby you can share it on the WhatsApp group, or because we'll be following the Google Cloud, you'll be following this Codelab, and you'll be copying some of the things, you'll be copying some of the codes on it so that it'll be easier for you to follow. So I think that is it. So the first thing is to open the Google Cloud Console, as I said. At that instance, that's where we'll be able to work with our projects. So for me, I've already developed a trustable AI application. So can I see thumbs up if you've been able to get your Google Cloud credits in your Gmail? Can I see some emojis if you've been able to get your cloud credits running successfully?
So share with us the link to have it, like to get it.
Oh, okay. So, okay. So, Kenny, I honestly didn't know. I would have searched for that, but I thought maybe you got that for the team. Unfortunately, I don't have the cloud credits from my side.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like branding. So that's what I mentioned before you
Oh, okay.
started. Yeah, I mentioned it will get it for them.
Oh, okay. Then I think we'll follow through, and probably if maybe next event we'll make sure to have the cloud credits earlier on for the members to be able to follow. But all the same, I will take us through. I think my internet is stable now. I will take you through, and yeah. So this is how the Google Cloud platform actually looks like. And the first thing is we'll be able to open our Cloud Shell. So this is where we'll be developing our trustable AI system. So here it is. So first, from our Cloud Shell, we need to create a new project, because that's what I said initially. When you are working in your cloud environment, you always have to create a project, and within this project you put in whatever you are developing. If it's a data analytics project, if you are using APIs, whatever be the case, you have to create a project, and within this project you are going to name it, and you are also going to get some ID with it. And this project ID is very key, because that's what you'll be using along whenever you want to have access to that particular project that you are working in. So this is where you can create a new project. So you can see new project, and you can see my numerous projects that I have created. And within it, you can see Trustable AI project, which I've already developed, as I said. So I don't need to create a new one. I'll just open it so that we can have. So here it means, let's take it that I have created our Trustable AI project. Then I have to connect it with my billing account, and that is one of the things that we are facing challenges right now. I'm sure probably the next meeting that would be solved. So we have to connect our billing account, and you can connect it directly once you create the project, or you can just check the billing. As I created, I clicked on the menu, you can see billing, and under it, it will show which billing account that you would be connected with. So here it is. So you have multiple billing accounts, so you can link your billing account that you want. So in this project, we are just experimenting. So usually when we are experimenting, we have access to some Google Cloud trial billing accounts, to which that is what I am using currently. So after all that is set, we have connected our billing account, we have created our project, that is good to go. Then our next thing is, we need to clone the project, right? So here it shows that after we've been able to create our project, we can be able to open our cloud shell. Our cloud shell is just like our environment that we'll be working in, like the normal IDE, Visual Studio Code. It has this kind of structure to which we'll be working. So that's where we'll be able to clone our project, to be able to see whatever that is going on in that aspect. So here I need to authorize our cloud shell. So that is what I am doing right now to be able to work on this project. So authentication is key. That is what we'll be doing. As it's going on, let me just move on. So here we need to click our cloud shell, which is what I'm doing, and then we would have to wait for the terminal session to start. So once it starts, it's going to give us this structure, Trustable AI at. So this is how the person has named his project, and I've also named mine Trustable AI. So once this loads, we are going to see something similar to that. As I said, we already have the code on GitHub. So all we have to do is clone the master repo on our Cloud Shell, which would help us to then go into the Trustable AI Code Lab to be able to work. And again, the third thing is, we have to enable some API, some very, very key API that will help us with our project. But again, as you remember, I talked about our project ID. After creating our project, we need to make sure to configure our projects together with the ID, so that the cloud will know that we are working in this particular project. So that is what we would be doing once. So we have it. So we have been able to open our cloud shell. So here we have to configure our project, right? We need to configure our project to be able to work. So here again, so all I have to do is is to connect my project, which is Trustable AI project. Let me see. Okay. So this is my project. So this is my Trustable AI. So all I have to do is copy um, my project ID to be able to paste it here. And so it says GC G-Cloud config set project. Then I paste my projects. So that will do. Once I do that, it's going to route to the project. Okay, correct. So I have to enter and that would be done. You can see that now I've been rerouted to the cloud project. But then again, I've already cloned my project. So right now, this is, if you haven't done it, this is the next step whereby you clone your project. You have to enable all the APIs, which I have done already. Then we would have to deploy the cloud one, the project, to deploy the backend to our cloud one. And then we use the stream URL. So this URL will help us to see which telemetry data and how it looks like. So I think I can run this. Let me just run this. I hope it's fast. Okay. Then enter, because I already have my project running in this project. So yeah, so okay, so that is it. Let me just open it in my editor so that I can see the project that I've already done. I'm opening it in the editor, and within this editor, that's where we can see my old project. I don't want to create a new project because I've already done that, and doing that is going to just duplicate it. So I want us to make good use of the project that I already have. And this stream URL is going to help us know that the telemetry data is actually trooping in, because that's what we'll be using to create our AI model, or to feed into our AI model, to be able to understand what, and to be able to understand the data. So once we run the service URL event, you are going to see something like this at the end of the day. You are going to see something like this, and you know, as a normal human being, this particular data doesn't actually make sense, right? So we need to put it into something which will actually understand what all this data means. All this data means, and that is what we'll be doing. So it says that what you should notice. So as we complete this section, we need to see that there is a data that is incoming, and this data contains just the raw telemetry data in its high volume, and we'll be using the AI LLM model to be able to make sure that we are working on the project. And then we build the racing simulator. In this section, we'll be building a racing car simulation. That is, we'll be able to connect the telemetry server to the racing car web application. We'll be able to view the simulated races. And we'll also be able to clone our front end application for that. Oh, it's not opened yet. It's not opened yet. I wanted it to open so that we'll see how it's going to be like. So all same, we'll clone our front end application from GitHub. Remember, the earlier one that we cloned the back end. So here we're cloning the front end where we are able to connect both of them and to be able to work hand in hand with what we are doing. Then when we clone that, we are going to run the application, and this application will just run it. Once we run it, we are going to have like a simple localhost application looking like this, whereby we input our APIs into it to be able to actually understand the telemetry data that we are feeding it into. So the next thing is to prepare our telemetry for AI reasoning. And as I said, when you see a normal data that is incoming and that is flowing in, you wouldn't actually make sense of it. It's the same thing for these AI systems. So we actually need to help it reason. So we have to prepare the telemetry data for AI reasoning. And this is what we'll do. We'll inspect the raw telemetry JSON. We would have to identify which particular fields that are most relevant for reasoning. And we would have to filter or summarize the data. Then we would have to reduce some unnecessary data that does not really have any meaning in what we are doing. Then we are going to prepare an AI friendly representation of the driving state. So this will be like a coach behind with like a friendly voice, what that will tell you what to do if you are facing any challenges, or if there is an incoming problem on the track. All of this is going to come into handy. Then we'll make some changes within the codes, and then we can move on. The next thing is to add some guardrails. Remember when I talked about when we are developing AI systems, we need to input some guardrails, some behaviors, some things that the AI system, when it sees, it has to let us know. So this section will talk about inputting some rules of how the model should behave. It will also apply some safety checks to reduce any misleading advice. We don't want in a state whereby the AI model will tell us our virtual car is going to take a sharp curve, and once we are doing that's not true. There's no sharp curve. No, we don't want any misleading advice. Remember, we are building a trustable AI system here, and once it says this, it should be what it is. It shouldn't give us any misleading advice. And also would be incorporating encoded human expertise into the pipeline, and we then have to compare the responses before and after this addition. So remember, when we input the safety checks, we should see that the safety checks are actually being implemented as we go with the virtual application. Still loading. So here, once after cloning the front-end application, we are going to go into the SRC. So these are like the folders within the cloned front-end from the GitHub account. So in it, we would have to go straight into our coaching ledger.ts, and within it, near the line 115, we are going to input this. This is going to tell us, or is like a physics knowledge that will let the AI model to actually know that a tire has 100% grip. If you use 100% for braking, you have 0% for turning, and all these are like core principles that we want the AI model to follow. So that is what we are doing, and that is what we'll be doing once our application opens the editor. So the next thing is to design the coaching persona. Remember when I was talking about the structure or the architecture of our application? If I may go back. Um, So this is the where we have reached. We have reached the coaching output because we've already done the reflex, the strategy, the feed forward, the predictive. So here we are with designing the coaching personas and user experience. And within this coaching personas, we have the Tony, which has like a motivational and field-based focused. Can is someone wanting to speak? Okay, so it has this persona. So we would have to choose one of these personas in this application. And within it is going to really, if you want an audio or an AI audio which is very direct and bland, it would be advisable to choose AJ. But if you are someone who likes to have this motivational feel and like keep on going, you can do this, all those kind of characteristics, then we would have to choose Tony as a persona. And how are we going to do this change? We'd have to go into the folder that we have cloned, then we would go within and get the coaching.ts file, where within it would have to change the system prompt within this using AJ, and AJ in here is direct the an audio AI audio that is very direct and blunt. So once we do that, it's going to actually show once we start running the application. So yeah, there we have to then review the end-to-end architecture. We have to know that for everything to actually work, the telemetry data has to go within the application that we are working on. We have to visualize the layer. We have to make sure that our AI is ready and is able to actually transform the data that is going into it. And then we should know that the strategies that we take should actually empower the LLM to be able to reason the data that is being inputted. Then we add some guardrails, as I made mention earlier, and these guardrails are like an encoded human guidance in this AI application. And yeah, I think this is all I have. I'm sure once you're going to face some challenges and all that, but I think it will be cool. Unfortunately, I'm not able to um I wanted to show the application, but I don't know. Today's my network is bad and I wasn't able to do that. But yeah, I think that's all. Thank you so much, Kenny. If anybody has any question, I'll be willing to answer. Over to you. Over to you, Kenny.
Thank you, Adiza, for your presentation, for the great introducing Google Cloud, also showing this workshop, and especially for Trustable, which it's a viral subject now, as we speak about AI, but we speak also about cyber part, trustworthy and responsible AI. For the first question we have here as in GC, they are asking about Google Cloud. So one thing is be there. So is there any way for controlling it via Gemini chat? So if
Yeah, thank you.
you're about
Yeah, thank you, Usmel, for the question. So the current application that we are actually developing, um, we are using Gemini, as I made mention, with the architecture, and our main aim was to be able to develop an application that we can actually trust it. And when it comes to um, a vehicle being smart, it has to be very, very reliable because what it carries a human life, right? So with this particular project, that was the main aim for it. But I think there is ways to which you can do things. There's many ways of killing a cat. So it's actually applies to this. I'm sure there's other means of doing that. And since we are here, I think it's very good to actually experiment with other options. Hope I've been able to answer your question, Usmel.
Thank you for your presentation. Et les gars, si vous avez des questions par rapport à la présentation qu'il vient de faire, vous pouvez commencer à poser les questions ou bien les écrire dans le chat.